Hello guys, welcome to Math Vantage. So in this lesson we are going to talk about the definition of the definite integral of the definite integral. Right. So let's say the example one, it says find the area of the curve using the definition of the definite integral. Okay, while we are given let's say f of x is equals to x squared. We have the two bounds, which is 0 and 3, right? Then our n is equals to n, right? Or it's not given n. So before we can solve this, let's talk about these formulas here, which are well known as the summation formulae, right? This is the summation formulae. We are going to talk about them whenever we're dealing with this first example. So now let's solve this question. Okay, and before we can solve this question, guys, this question is based on the definition of the definite integral. The way we are going to solve it, it's a way that you need to solve it whenever they ask you to solve or to find the area using the definition of the definite integral. Sometimes you'll not be given n, it will be just like this. So whenever you're not given n and then it's just like this, you just have to know that it means n is equals to n, right? Because you don't know what n is, right? So now, solution. The first thing that you have to write, guys, whenever solving this question is the area. It's the formula of the area, which is a is equals to the limit when n approaches infinity. Then we have sigma, where k is equals to 1 up to n. And then after that, we have f of xk multiplied by delta x. Alright, so now let's talk about this k value, this k here, and this k. In the other books, you'll find that they use I is equals to 1, and then here it's x of I, right? It is still the same thing. So meaning if they used I here, it means also in the summation formula is going to be I is equals to 1, and then just like that. The only thing which doesn't change is n, right? So now, after writing down our formula, the second step that we have to write down is to find the delta x. So meaning we have to find delta x, which is the width. Remember, this is the width and then this is the height of the rectangle, right? So the formula of finding the width is delta x is equals to minus b all over a, minus b minus a all over n, right? This is the formula of finding delta x. What is b? Remember these points here, this one represent a and then this one represent b always. So our b is 3 and then our 8 0 all over n. So meaning our delta x is equals to 3 over n, right? So after finding these values, now in the third step we need to find xk. Where's xk? Here is in this formula, right? We need to find xk. How can we find sk? So most of the time this question, if you are not asked to find let's say, to find the area using the left hand point or the right hand point. So you just have to always choose the right hand point. So let me just write down the formulas of the SK for the left hand points and also for the right hand points, right? For the right hand points, its formula of SK is XK is equals to A plus delta X multiplied by K, right? This formula represent what the right hand points, right? And then now let's do the left hand points. The left, okay, sorry, the left hand points formula is going to be xk is equals to a plus delta x into k minus 1 into k minus 1. This formula is for the left hand point. So like I said, if you're not asked to find the area whether using, like they were not specific that you need to use this endpoint, so always use the right endpoint, right? So now, as we said, now we are finding xk, so let's use the right endpoint, which is this one. Therefore we're going to write that formula of the right endpoint, which is a plus delta x multiplied by k, right? So what is a? We know that a is the first point or the first limit, which is 0 plus what is delta x? We did calculated delta x, which is 3 over n multiplied by k, right? So it means our answer is 3k over n. Can you guys see it? Therefore, now after writing down, after finding sk, what do we do? We're now going to write down our formula again. We know that our formula is equals to a is equals to the limit where n approaches infinity. Always you need to write this limit, guys, and then with the sigma starting from 1 to n. Therefore, remember that now we have calculated delta x, which is here, from the original formula, which is here, and then also xk. So it means we're going to replace sk with that value that we found, and also delta x with the value that we found. So it means it's going to be f of, what is xk? Xk is 3k all over n, right? And then what is delta x? Delta x is 3 over n. Can you guys see it? So now, what do we do after? Now that's where we are going to use our formula. Which formula? This formula of f of x, or the function of x squared. So it means after writing this step here, you need to write down this formula or the function that you're given, right? After writing down that function, how is it going to help us? Remember that now, this function here, if you can check, we have this function here. If you can check, it's f into 3k over n. And we know most of the time, these values here, it represent what? X, right? So it means where we see x, we are going to replace it with what? 3k all over n. Let me repeat it again. Remember that this formula here, right? Most of the time we know it as f of x, right? So now they replaced with what? With f of 3k all over n. Can you guys see it? So it means now in this function, where we see x, we are going to replace it with what? 3k all over n. So it means we're going to have f of 3k all over n is equals to 3k all over n squared, right? Therefore, it's going to give us 9k squared all over n squared. Right. So after writing it down like this, so we now know what is f of rk 3k man all over n. So it means we're going to write down our formula again. So let me just erase some few things here. Okay guys, so now we're going to write down that formula, which is a is equals to the limit where n approaches infinity, therefore the sigma from 1 to n. And then we know that now, remember this formula here guys, we know that now we know the value of f of 3k all over n, which is 9k squared all over n squared, right? So going to say bracket 9k squared all over n squared, right? Multiply by what? By that 3 over n. So you can see that we always write down that limit. So make sure that you don't miss to write down that limit. So now let's multiply everything. We have the limit of n where it approaches infinity. Then k is equals to 1 all over n. Therefore 9 multiplied by 3 is going to give us 27. It's going to give us 27. We have k squared, right, all over. Therefore it's going to give us 9 n cubed. It's going to give us n cubed, right? So what do we do after this step? We can take out n cubed or everything which doesn't have k. How? So I will show you. I'm going to write down the limit. Always we write down that limit. Then now check guys. We can see that this value, it tells us we can see that this value here, its k is equals to 1, right? So as its k equals to 1, it means the values which has to be here, they must contain k. If they don't contain k, we can take them out, right? We can see that we have n here, and then here we have k. So it means we can only take n out, and also this number here 27, right? How so? It means we're going to have 27 all over n cubed, right? And then we have the sigma, then we'll be left with what? K squared. Can you guys see it? We only took everything which doesn't have k, and then we left the values which have k. So if now you can check this formula here, this one here, and then check the summation formula of k squared. It is the same thing. Can you guys see it? Number 2, here it is. So it shows that you have to be familiar with what? With the summation formula. You need to know these formulas. If it was k, it means the sigma from k is equals to 1 to n of k is equals to n into n plus 1 all over 2, right? And then for k squared is this one, then for k cubed is this one. So it means now we're going to replace this whole thing which has sigma with what? With n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 all over 6. Can you guys see it? Therefore, let's do that. It's the limit n approaches infinity, 27 all over n cubed, multiply by, we always multiply, it's n cubed, guys, don't get confused. Okay, let me fix it. Okay guys, so let me fix it. It's n cubed. Yeah, therefore multiply by this value which is n into, or this formula which is n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 all over 6. Can you guys see it? So now we have a is equals to the limit where n approaches infinity, right? Therefore we have 27 all over n cubed multiply by, then we can multiply this we are going to have n squared plus n 2n plus 1 all over 6. Can you guys see it? So now what we are going to do is we are going to also multiply this. We can use FOIL method over n cubed multiply by, we're going to have n cubed 2 n cubed is this one multiplied by this, right? It's going to give us 2n cubed. Then this one also multiplied by this one is going to give us n squared. Then this multiplied by this is going to give us plus 2n squared plus n, right? Therefore, all over 6. So let me just do some space here. Okay guys, so now we can continue with our expression. We have a is equals to the limit n approaches infinity sigma from k, and then here it's n. Yo, not sigma, sorry guys. Let me erase it. No. Yo, this thing, it requires a lot of writing. You'll end up making mistakes, so you need to be slow so that you don't make mistakes or silly mistakes. So it's 27 all over n cubed, right? Multiply by, you can see that we have like times here. It's 2n cubed plus 3 n squared plus n. Therefore, we can divide this as 6, 6, 6, right? Then now our a is equals to the limit n, okay, you can use a bracket here so that you cannot get confused, approaches infinity, right? And now 2 over 6 is 1 over 3, right? It means we're going to have, before it's going to be 27 all over n cubed. Then now 2 over 6 is 1 over 3. It's n cubed over 3 plus 3 over 6 is it's going to be 1 over 2. N squared all over 2 plus n over 6, right? Then now we can multiply 2n with everything inside the brackets, right? So let's do that. So we can see that 2n all over n cubed multiplied by n cubed all over 3. N cubed is going to cancel out. Can you guys see it? And then when it's cancelled out, yo, remember this is 27. Yo, sorry guys. So it means we'll be left with 27 all over 3, therefore plus, and then 27 all over n cubed multiplied by n squared all over 2. It's going to give us 27 over 2n. I hope you guys can see it. Plus, then this one multiplied by the last one, it's going to give us 27 over it's going to be 27 over 6 n squared. Can you guys see it? Therefore now our limit of n when approaches infinity, 27 over 3 is going to give us 9, therefore plus 27 over 2n. 27 over 6 is going to give us 9 over 2n squared, right? So now we are going to use what? The limit, right? So in the limit, the things that you have to know is that before you can continue, just know that, let me write them here. Okay, let me just do it. Write them here. Just know that the limit when x approaches infinity of 1 over x, it's always 0. Alright? And then also the limit when x approaches infinity of 1 over x squared, it's also 0, always, right? So now we can see that we have the same things here for this limit. So it means our answer is going to be 9 plus 0, because if you can check this one, it's more familiar with the first one that we wrote of the limit of x approaches infinity of 1 over x is equals to 0. Can you guys see it? And then also the second one is going to give us 0. Then a is equals to 9. Then we are done solving the area using the limit and the definition of the definite integral. So if you find this video useful, kindly like and subscribe. Thank you guys.